Another explosive night in Southern California as protests continue over immigration raids. Police and crowds facing off in Los Angeles and Orange County. This morning, law enforcement is gearing up for a 5th day of unrest. Here's a look at the latest developments. President Trump is mobilizing an additional 2,000 National Guard members to help protect federal buildings in L.A. Now, that doubles his initial deployment. Also, 700 U.S. Marines are headed to L.A. The Marines are from an infantry battalion based in 29 Palms. The LAPD says more than 70 people were arrested over the weekend and 5 police officers were hurt. The Trump administration's decision to put more boots on the ground is being met by strong criticism from L.A. leaders.
Mario Ramirez kicking off our team coverage of the protest, joining us live from the Federal Detention Center in downtown. Mario.
Barbara, good morning. As local law enforcement is preparing for another day of demonstrations, we can tell you that the National Guard is stationed here around federal buildings. We're just outside the detention center. You can see them there. This federal building really became a focal point for protesters after it emerged that ICE detainees were being held here. And now hundreds of Marines are expected to join the National Guard under Trump's orders as tensions continue escalating. Take a look. About 700 U.S. Marines from the 2nd Battalion, 7th Marine Regiment out of 29 Palms received weekend orders and are on the way, expected to arrive this morning. And although they're trained for close combat, officials say these Marines won't be on the front lines. Instead, they'll be focused on crowd control and de-escalation. Those are skills that they've been trained in specifically for this mission. That, according to U.S. Northern Command, which confirmed that those Marines will support the more than 2,000 National Guard troops already activated across the area. And late yesterday, the Pentagon said it's mobilizing an additional 2,000 National Guard troops under President Trump's order, and that now pushes the number of military personnel to more than 4,000, with growing opposition from Governor Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass. The governor calling the deployment unnecessary, saying it'll only inflame tensions. Now, if we come back out here to our live shot, we've been seeing these National Guard troops checking IDs for employees entering the building. The president's move to activate these National Guard troops marks the first time the federal government has done so without a governor's consent since the 60s. Again, they won't be on the front lines with local law enforcement like the LAPD taking people into custody like we've seen. We're not exactly sure what the presence will look like, but again, hundreds are expected to arrive here in Los Angeles this morning. For now, live downtown, I'm Mario Ramirez. Back to you.
All right. Mario, thank you. California suing the Trump administration over the deployment of the National Guard troops to L.A. Trump ordered 2,000 National Guard troops to Los Angeles for 60 days under federal law. The first troops arrived on Sunday. Governor Newsom says activating the National Guard without consulting him is illegal and immoral, calling it an inflammatory escalation. Attorney General Rob Bonta says local law enforcement had the protests under control.
Trump and Hegseth jumped from 0 to 60. Bypassing law enforcement expertise and evaluation, they threw caution to the wind and sidelined strategy in an unnecessary and inflammatory escalation that only further spurred unrest.
The lawsuit accuses the president of exceeding his authority and asks the court to declare his actions as unlawful. Meantime, numerous downtown L.A. stores have been vandalized and looted.
Gigi Graciette is standing by to show us the damage done. Gigi.
And that's right. We're live this morning on 8th and Broadway here in downtown Los Angeles, where multiple businesses were hit. Across the street, the Apple store, and here, the Adidas store. Take a look. They broke out the window, the glass doors, and outside you can see boxes and you can see single shoes because somebody stole apparently only one shoe. Another shoe is over there, $140 pair of sneakers in that rock, presumably used to break out both glass doors of the Adidas store. Take a look at some video when this happened. The looting started last night at about 11 o'clock in the morning and went on almost till 3 a.m. today as dozens and dozens of people hit stores, especially on Broadway and Hill. Now take a look. Jewelry stores on Hill were also hit. At one point, there were reports of up to 100 looters at a jewelry store. It was one after another after another. At one jewelry store, somebody actually set a fire. LA City Fire responding to that. And then the Apple Store here on 8th and Broadway also hit. There's a blood trail on the inside glass. So apparently someone who shattered one of those windows also got injured. The store just vandalized. There's graffiti all over the windows on the inside of the store and boxes absolutely everywhere. Now, we did see some people being taken into custody, and we expect to get some numbers from LAPD after. And then there's the Shoe Palace. And keep in mind, these are not all the businesses that were looted. There were many others. These are just some of them. And if the business wasn't looted or broken into, it was vandalized. There is graffiti absolutely everywhere. Bringing it back here live again, the Adidas store, one of many that were hit. No dollar amount on what was taken because all the managers, employees, they still have to come in now and do an inventory of their losses. Reporting live, I'm Gigi Gracia. Back to you.
All right, Gigi, thank you. We'll take you now here to a day-long protest in Santa Ana over immigration raids in the OC. This ended shortly before midnight. Police tell us they declared an unlawful assembly around 8:30 last night. They say people were throwing fireworks and other objects at local and federal authorities. Police say they responded with tear gas and other crowd control weapons. The demonstration started near the Santa Ana Federal Building, where several people were arrested. The protests were triggered by a number of ICE raids carried out in Santa Ana yesterday, including an ICE raid at a Home Depot. And later today, Orange County elected leaders and the OC Rapid Response Network will gather to condemn the ICE raids. Organizers say they want to ensure the OC immigrant community feels supported. OC Supervisor Vicente Sarmiento is expected to speak out against the raids, along with 3 Santa Ana City Council members and several members of the Santa Ana Unified School District Board.
It's been a busy couple of days, several days,
the least,
you know?
for sure.
And here we are, it's Tuesday.
It feels later than that in the week, for sure.
Yeah, I know we've been having incredible team coverage here at Good Day LA and Fox, so we'll continue to follow all that.